In this video, we're going to do a problem from the homework from Experience 9. This is number 6. Out of 400 people, 240 had children. Based on this, construct a 90% confidence interval for the true population proportion of people with kids. Okay, so we were told some information about the sample, the proportion of people in the sample with children. The symbol for that is p hat. There was 400 individuals in the sample, and out of those 400, 240 had children. So we know the proportion in the sample with children, but when we create a confidence interval, this is for the population, right? What proportion of the population that this sample is representing has children? That is unknown. That is what we are estimating. Let's get a decimal representation of our sample proportion, 0.6. I'm going to write down the formula for the confidence interval. It starts with the point estimate, that's the 0.6. We're going to add and subtract the margin of error. We need to compose that margin of error with a number from the z table. Remember, that's quite easy to find. And then we multiply that by this big square root, p1 minus p, that's the sample proportion, I should say p hat, over n. Let's go find this z critical value in our z table. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of this first page to this little mini table. The question requests a 90% confidence interval, so I'm going to use as our critical value 1.645. Let's fill in our formula with all the values that we have ready now. P hat, 0.6. Add, subtract, 1.645 times a big square root, 0.6 times 1 minus 0.6 over n. N was 400. Okay, let's go get our calculator, or I'm going to do the square root component first. I'm going to do this standard error part first. Square root 0.6 times 1 minus 0.6 divided by, oh, I forgot a parentheses, divided by 400, and I need to close my parentheses, and usually we need to put I forgot to put the multiplication symbol here. I accidentally just typed an 8, so there we go, 0.0244. I'm going to write more decimal places here so I don't round too prematurely. Let's take our result and multiply it by the z critical value times 1.645. And so now we've got our margin of error. And I'm writing down all my steps so I don't lose anything. But now I can perform the subtraction and then perform the addition to get our lower bound and our upper bound. So 0.6 minus 0.04029 and 0.6 plus 0.04029. Those are our bounds for our confidence interval. I like to write it in this interval notation. Sometimes they like you to write it more as a compound inequality, I can see in the question here, it likes to have it with this sort of notation here, which I will also replicate here. It's basically asking the same thing, but it's just notated in a different way. But I've got our values that we need. Maybe I will put those in a nice box, and let's type them in to the homework. It's asking to round to 3 decimal places, so the smaller number goes first. I suppose we should round to 0.55. Ooh, I guess that should be a 0.56, huh? And right here, this will be 0.640. You can just type 0.64. Sweet.